Morning, everyone, and welcome to the welcome video for this week. That is, what's today's date? Nope, that's not it. October 5th. Welcome. So the plan for this week is there are two more videos, one wrapping up types of reliability, really focusing on different types of inter-rater reliability, and the other on item response theory, which is really, I go into some technical detail there, but it's really a high-level summary of what IRT is, how it's used, and how it differs than classical test theory. So that's all pretty straightforward. In lab, we'll have a data cleaning lab where I spend a few minutes kind of walking through some basic steps to take, but the big point here is whether you're in person or on Zoom, to give you some time to perhaps download an early version of your data to build the syntax. Why are we talking about that now then, when you're still collecting data? It's so that when it is time to factor analyze your data, which will be the week after your exam, you can pull your data, clean it quickly, and then get to the analyses you need to do for your final project faster. Just kind of recognizing that things will be compressed at the end of the semester, that I want you to take your time, do your due diligence on your projects. So, trying to give you some tools ahead of time to do that. The main reason, however, that I'm doing the video this week is to talk about the exam briefly. You have an exam. The exam is next week, and the exam will be up from 8:30 in the morning next Wednesday, October 14th, until 5 p.m. on Friday. So same basic process that we went through before. Just like before, if you're doing the lab section, please make sure that you've tested your tech, that you make sure the computer works if you're in the lab, you make sure your virtual lab is up and running. That way you don't run out of time on the test itself. You can do those parts separately, same as before. And yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. But let me talk real briefly about what is on the lab portion. On the lab portion, you'll be doing essentially what we've done on the two homeworks. And by essentially, really, we're doing everything that we did in those two homeworks because it's less stuff. So you'll be calculating test-retest reliability. You'll be calculating Cronbach's alpha on an overall measure, but also on subdimensions. So for this one, I'd really encourage you to read the directions carefully, note which items need to be recoded, because you need to recode before you do that, so on and so forth. You'll be asked to do a Spearman-Brown correction, where you estimate the reliability of a whole test, and then you'll be asked to calculate inter-rater reliability and use that inter-rater reliability along with some other values I give you to calculate a true score correlation, or correct for the attenuation of reliability. I'll give you the formulas in the test, but you also, it's open book, so if you need to look through another example, you can do that as well. So the lab is nothing that you haven't done before, but you will be asked to do it in a time setting for an exam. And that's it. That's really actually the next 2 weeks. Videos this week, in person or Zoom lab, and then next week will just be the exam. After the exam, we'll pick up and we'll talk about factor analysis. And that's actually going to be pretty straightforward. We'll talk about what it is, different types of it. But the majority of it will be spent in lab walking through an example. And this is the example that you'll want to follow for the primary analysis for your study. So after the exam, we're going to ramp up back that way. And then we'll get into validity and things like that. And honestly, at that point, a lot of our lab time after the factor analysis week will be spent as work time for you to work in your projects and for me to consult as you have questions. So I think we can negotiate how we want to do that as we move forward. In the short term, though, videos and a test, it'll be fine. So that's it. That's the intro video for the week. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll see you all soon.